all these things contribute to how you can have a wonderful life. And basically our role here today is to really share with you powerful techniques and tools that's going to change your life. Now, I believe, according, and also with Vivi, is that we are here on this planet, this earth, to experience wonderful and limitless joy, happiness, and abundance. And a lot of us, I feel that we are missing out on getting to experience that full joy, that full life that we should be well deserving of. So that's why we're going to be here to empower you, everyone. Now, our live webinar is designed to be around an hour. So we're going to try to condense as much as possible. And don't feel like it's rushed and you have to say, and wait for all things. We'll try to get everything done together because we do want to interact with some people who like to even share their feedbacks. But again, back to what we want to do is we want to give you tools so that you are empowered. And I just want to share, for example, there's a lot of wonderful, amazing courses, programs. And one of the things I have to share that some of the things that are missing out is, people get really excited and motivated. And what ends up happening is that over time, people lose that interest. They lose that excitement. And what we want to do is give tools because we are going to allow you to be self-motivators. So you will never have to rely on somebody else to feel good, to be excited. Everything is going to be starting from within you. So I want to welcome you all today. And I want to quickly just share a little bit about my story. And then I want to introduce also Bibi as well. So a little bit about me. What have I gone through? Why are we doing, why did we create the Institute of Human Potential and Success? Well, this is a quick story about myself. And I was dealing with a lot of emotions, such as specifically feeling not good enough. And that relates to often dealing with the fear and also rejection. And for me, it was always difficult for me to express myself. And some of you who understand, let's say chakras, for example, let's talk about the throat chakra. For me, it was difficult for me to express myself. I wouldn't be able to be here today to speak to everyone. I would be very aware or self-conscious because I would be worried about what would people think about me? What about the things I say? People might feel like, hey, what is this guy talking about? Is this person really good? So what that happened is that because I didn't express myself, people wouldn't know what I was feeling. So a lot of people maybe who met me, they would say like, you know what? He seems nice, but I don't know anything about this person. I don't know who he is. He just doesn't speak. And that's true. When I was younger, I didn't speak really to anyone, but it contributes to something that happened during my childhood, which we're going to talk about a little bit more. But just to give you an idea, between 0 and 7 years old is a very critical stage in a child's life. And a child, the way they process information, their brain works on theta waves. And what that means is you hear about how children, they're like sponges. They just absorb every information. Like, for example, you tell them, Santa Claus is going to bring you gifts. That becomes a reality. They believe Santa Claus is real. So any information they receive, becomes their reality. So, for example, for myself, when I spoke up, whether it was with family gatherings or anything like that, I was constantly told to not speak up. What do you know? Now, I do want to share something. It's not something that I look at my parents or anything and I blame them for what they've done, because these are things that they never knew before, like even myself. So maybe to them, they were just trying to be disciplining me. But I know they try to love me, and they did love me, but they be aware and conscious of what we're doing. But what happened is through their actions, by telling me, oh, don't speak, what do you know? Or telling me that, you don't know what you're talking about, or, that wasn't very smart. Any little things when a child hears that, what happens? Like for myself, I started believing that I was not good enough. I was not smart enough. I shouldn't speak. And all those things that happened to my childhood, it became stuck into my subconscious. And that carried over into my adulthood without even being aware, because consciously, I'm thinking like, you know what? I want to express I want to tell people who I am. But without even realizing, when I'm in a group of people, I would just shut down. I would not speak because of that fear that what I experienced when I was younger, that if I say something, someone's going to judge me. They're going to say, oh, I don't like this person. Or they're going to say, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So you understand what happens. So that's just give you just a little idea. So enough about me, because we're going to start. I want Bibi to just quickly introduce herself. Bibi, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I hear you fine. Yeah, I hear you fine. Everyone's on mute.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Bibi. Some of you here already know me, but as Junie said earlier, there is different emotions that we go through, and why I'm doing this today, why I'm doing this sharing session today, because for you who know me, you would see me like a bubbly person, happy, joyful, no worries. But I want to share with you today, I was dealing with chronic anxiety and chronic worry. I would worry everything, from the flight, from delivery, from shipping. I would worry every day. I wake up worrying. I go to sleep worrying. And I thought that was normal until I figured that it was normal. And then I thought, am I strange? If something is wrong with me, why am I, always worrying? And then I, finally got the courage to seek help. And then I found out that it was to do with my childhood. It was a lot to do with my childhood. And, if you ask me, how was your childhood? I say my childhood is really good. However, I didn't know that there were things that I interpreted, or I make up stories. I make stories of events and turn it into something negative, and then it got stuck in my subconscious mind, and then it influenced me. It basically influenced my decisions, my choices, how I think in my adult life. So I managed to, work with so many masters. I managed to work with so many psychologists, work with so many gurus that finally being able to help me. And then I realized among the people that I know, 7 out of 10 are dealing with similar things. People think that chronic worrying is normal, like, oh, everybody worries, but chronic worrying is not normal. So today I want to share with you my own personal success story. I used to worry, I think, from a scale of 0 to 100, my worrying scale was 95. That's how much I worry every day. When I shower, I worry. When I eat, I worry. Some of you who know me, if you look at my pictures in the past, you would see that if I'm smiling on my picture, but my mind wasn't there. My mind is somewhere else because I'm worrying. I'm worrying about something. There's always something to worry. And I will only stop worrying about this when I have a new worry. I don't know how many of you can relate. And also I was living in a lot of fear. Although I appear like very confident, I appear, outspoken, but I was living in a lot of fear. A lot of the decisions I made was because of fear. I want to avoid fear. I want to avoid something. So then I will take a decision. So that's who I was. But today I'm a completely different person. So that motivates me to want to share this with all of you today, the tools, why, what happened. And as Junie mentioned earlier, most of what we're dealing with today, the problems, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your career, your choices, your health, your financial situation, your joy, your happiness, all of them have to do with your emotions. I know nobody talks about this. Maybe it's a taboo. Maybe, nobody wants to talk about emotion because emotion is a female thing, female are emotional, but it's not true. Male and female, we all have emotional issues, but you know what we've taught to do? We cover them up. We push them under the carpet as if they don't exist. If we're upset, we vent to our friend and then we keep them in. So we just keep dumping all this emotion into ourselves, but we never process them. Think about this. When you eat, you detox. You go to the bathroom, you let them out. But when you're emotional, what do? We don't process them. Nobody teaches how to process them. When you were upset, when you were a child, your parents would tell you, stop whining, stop crying, stop cranky. We were never allowed to express ourselves, especially growing up in Asian culture. We were not even allowed to respond or say anything. We were just told, be quiet, with the eyes. Asian people, you know what I mean. So what we do with that is that we internalize all this emotion and then we keep them somewhere. They become trauma, any form of trauma. I want to share with you my personal example, my personal story. Um, some of you who knows me knows that I went through an abusive relationship. Now that I think back, I think, why would I stay in an abusive relationship? Why? What did I do? Why did I choose to stay in an abusive relationship? And, after learning all these modalities and helping myself heal, I realized it came from one very innocent, very, very innocent incident as a child. This tied into when I was a child, about 6 or 7 years old. I went to my aunt's place with a lot of cousins, and we were playing together, but somehow they told me I cannot play with them. So I felt rejected. I tried to tell my aunt, I tried to tell my grandmother that, they didn't allow me to play with them, but they just brush it off like, it's just kids fight. What I interpreted from that one incident, it was really small. In the parents' eyes, it's just kids, really, really minor. But you know what I interpret from that? I am not good enough. I'm unwanted. And because of that story, I put in my mind that I am unwanted. It affects my whole education, my whole school life. When I went to primary school, I did not have friends, no friends. When I went to secondary school, I became submissive. Submissive in the sense I would dress based on what my friends tell me to dress. If my friend says, you can only talk to this person, these are the people I talk to. If they tell me this is you have to report to me, this is what. So bad to the extent that if I do better in my school test, they will be so upset. I would be so scared of doing better than them. So I'll always try to maintain, below them. And this is what happened to me in my school years. And then when I, after 18, when I started working, I started meeting people, then I started attracted relationship that was abusive to me. Can you see a pattern there? There's a pattern, the same pattern throughout, that says I am unwanted, I'm not good enough. And therefore, when a man appeared in my life that just showered me with a little bit of attention, I fell for that. And I cannot see everything else. I cannot see all this darkness, all the abuses. I cannot see it anymore. All I see is, well, at least he wants me. At least he gives me attention, because that was just one story, a very innocent story that I told myself as a child. So now, can you see the pattern? And when you look at where you are today, whatever situations you're dealing with, whether it's emotional issues, kids, communication with your kids, your health, or, your workplace, stress, can you see a pattern? Is it a one-time thing, or is it being the same pattern? It's different event, different people, but it's the same pattern. So if you see a pattern, then now I want you to know that it comes from your childhood. So today we're going to share with you how we go back to your childhood and get rid of that event. Because once you get rid of that event, that imprint is gone. And when that imprint is gone, it doesn't repeat in the future. Okay, so as Junie said earlier, 0 to 7 years old are the most critical years of the children's life. Why? Because they are in theta wave. Theta wave is a hypnotic state. In it, everything you say, everything you do goes straight into their subconscious mind. And as you know, we have conscious mind and subconscious mind. Conscious mind only contributes about 5% of who we are today. That's why there are people who say every day, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a millionaire, and they're never a millionaire, because that's 5%. If you want to be a millionaire, you need the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind controls your life 95%. So now, how do we know what's in our subconscious mind? There's a lot of garbage. This garbage comes from our childhood, from 0 to 7. For some people, it came in during you're in the womb, in your mother's womb. You absorb her emotion, you absorb her energy. Therefore, we usually also advise people, if you plan for pregnancy or while you are pregnant, please, please, please manage your emotion, because all those emotions are going to go to the baby. And so 0 to 7, the words we say, the things we show our kids are very, very important. Try your best to not let them go through trauma. And for us today, here, we are all adults and we've gone through this. So what can we do about that? I want to share with you a little bit about energy clearing. So any form of emotion is energy. We are all made up of energy. Before anything happens, it has to have the energy. So, when you create or design a car, it comes in the form of a thought. The thought is an energy. So emotion is an energy. When you feel angry, there's an emotion, and that emotion has energy. So where do we keep this energy? I don't know. Some of you keep it in your chest. Some of you keep it in your throat, in your face. I realized that I kept a lot of emotion on my face and on my chest. Some people keep the emotion on the throat area. Some people keep the emotion in the stomach area. So everybody is different, but we keep them. We don't process them. And if we don't get rid of these imprints, we're going to continue to repeat the same pattern. And that's why people say, oh, why is there, problems after problems after problems? You can get rid of this problem. You can live a very joyful life. You can live a life free of worries. You can live a very fulfilling and successful life if you know how to get rid of this garbage from your mind. It's basically a mind detox. We get rid of the root problem of our emotional issues. And as we say today, heal your emotion. We're going to be doing a live clearing session where we're going to help you clear at least one emotion. I want to share with you what are the things we're going to focus on today. As a child, there are 4 main childhood trauma. The first trauma is trauma of rejection. I'm sure, some of you have felt it. Trauma of rejection. The second trauma is trauma of abandonment. For some reason, you felt abandoned. Okay. Again, we don't blame our parents because they do not know. We're not blaming anyone. It happens because nobody taught us about emotions. So we just follow and we just duplicate our parents, our grandparents in our parenting. So we continue that. But today I want you to realize these are 4 really, really important information that everyone needs to know. So in the trauma of rejection, the trauma of abandonment, the trauma of humiliation. I think you're aware that some parents don't even realize they humiliate their own kids, or sometimes it's their siblings humiliating their own siblings or cousins or relatives or school. So that's the trauma of humiliation. And then the last one, which is the trauma of betrayal. So these are the 4 biggest trauma that we went through as a child that still control who we are today. Why they control who we are today? Because any emotion that we feel, we keep it. And that goes into our subconscious mind. Once it's in our subconscious mind, in the future, that if there's any event that trigger that same emotion, we still use our childhood memory of how to deal with that situation. So, I'm sure, you have been in situations where sometimes people say, why are you being so childish? Because in ourselves, we still have that inner child that screamed for help, that wanted to be loved, that wanted that attention, but which we never got. So we need to heal that inner child. We need to heal our childhood. And Junie is going to share with you further about this trauma.
Yes, thank you, BB. That was wonderful. I'm going to share you just a little idea of what's going to happen. I do want to give everyone this beautiful gift. I think we're going to offer two tools today because of the time that we have. So one, BB had mentioned, is it's going to be like a mini guided clearing meditation session. And then the second part, BB will talk a little bit more about later, is about the flower essence. So in this clearing session, again, I just want to share, this has nothing to do with any type of religion or anything like that, okay? And it's just people to be completely open. We have people from all around the world, different types of backgrounds, even different religions, all participating. This is simply just for the benefit for you. If you, like, I love myself. So you know what? I want to do everything and anything that I can to improve, because you know what I want? I want to live the best life that I can have on this planet. That's simply all I want. And I hope that this message can also be shared with everyone else, because maybe some of us may believe, like, you know what? This is life. This is how life is supposed to be.
Yeah,
My parents went through that way, even my grandparents. And, some people say, this is meant to be. This is destiny. Actually, I don't agree with that. We have the ability and the power to choose. So with these tools, these are tools that are available that we're going to share with you. So I want to just share a couple things so that when I start, you'll kind of have an idea and awareness of what I'm talking about. Now, you don't have to judge anything. You don't
No,
have to know everything exactly what.
to share another two informations that I think is very critical. So I mentioned about the four traumas that, most of us went through, which affect our life today. And then we have two very, very damaging or self-sabotaging beliefs, and we need to get rid of them. We're going to help you get rid of these two beliefs today, okay? I want to share with you what these two are. Most of us are walking around subconsciously believing we are not good enough. Can anybody relate? Do you feel it? Can anybody relate? Everything we do, we go on a date, we like the guy, but then something's telling us, well, am I that pretty? Will he be interested in me? Am I that good? Why would he want me? Not good enough. Or when we go for interview, or when we go for promotion, or when we want to start a business, when we want to start something, it's not that you cannot. Everybody is equal. However, there's this, I am not good enough. Therefore, I cannot start a business because I am not good enough. We repeat this over and over and over again. Do you know how damaging it is and how self-sabotaging it is? This is the first beliefs that we need to get rid of. Number two, which is also a very big damaging belief, it's unworthiness. That I am not worthy. I am not worthy to have a good life, or I'm not worthy to be rich. I'm not worthy to be successful. I'm not worthy to be thin. I'm not worthy to be healthy. So many stories that we tell to ourselves because of these two damaging beliefs. There are many more damaging beliefs, but these two are the pattern in almost everybody. Almost everybody are controlled by these two thoughts. I am not good enough, and I am not worthy enough. I'm unworthy. So today, Junie is going to help all of us to clear this, to go into the root when it was first started. We have to clear the root, because if you don't clear the root, you are still going to repeat the same pattern. So what we want to do is go after the root, which we call the imprint. And once we clear the imprint, in the future, similar things that happen would not trigger you anymore. And as you see, in our flyer, we did say heal your emotion, from anxiety, chronic worrying, fear, negative thinkings. Most of these habits or emotions come from this self-damaging beliefs and the trauma. So today we're going to give you an experience of how to clear them yourselves. So Junie, you can take over.
Yeah, thank you, Bibi. Okay. I want to tell you what's going to happen. Again, this is through a guided clearing meditation session. Okay, so no one has to do anything. Everything is going to be simply effortless, and that's how it should be. We make it very easy, very relaxing. That's what we want in life, and that's what I want to share. So I'm going to give you an idea, because what we're going to do, because we all have an ability to basically, regardless of religion, connect to a higher being, a higher source, universe, a God, anything, right? We all have that ability, and we're just going to help to amplify that. And identifying it, and just give you a quick example. Let's just say somebody is very stressed out, feeling stuck because of their career, okay? And they just don't know why. They just cannot go beyond, because everybody will tell you, and this is just an example, that they all want more money or they want to be more successful, but because of where they are, they get stressed out, because finance plays a role, it's important. And when we understand with these clearings, we identify, especially when we do one-on-one with individuals, we find out that individual, when they were younger, I think it was around 4 or 5 years old, when they're sitting in the backseat of the car, and it was this person's birthday, they can hear the parents basically arguing. It's like, you know what? The child is listening at the same time. They can hear like, where are we going to get this money? It's his birthday. I don't know if we can really afford what he really wanted. He really wanted a bicycle, but I don't think we can do that this year. So when the child heard that, the child responded to the parents, hey, Mom, Dad, you know what? This year, they asked the child, what do you want for your birthday? He said, just anything is okay. If you want to get me like a book, I'll be really happy, or anything it is. But he really wanted a bicycle. But I'm going to tell you what happened, because his relationship with money was that anytime when it comes to money has basically may make a a discord. It makes people fight. It sees parents with pain. So money brought pain. Money brought, argument, problems. And that was his relationship, his belief. Remember, children's minds are theta waves. His ideas of money was pain. Money was, difficulty, problems. So as he got into his adulthood, that's why whenever he was given a promotion, he would share with us, he would find some ways to sabotage it. He would, for example, just be sick on a certain day when he was supposed to show up, or he would turn down an offer because that can't be, it's too good to be true. But once we went through this clearing, this person was able to just completely break away from this idea of what happened when his child, and this person is now thriving, super successful, and making millions. So this is something I just want to share with you, just a story of what happened just by removing something in the past of what that experience that child had. Okay, so what I like everyone to do is close their eyes, okay? Just be very comfortable where you are, okay? And all you have to do is just pay attention to my voice. Now, in the beginning, we're going to start off by just doing short breath work technique to help us to relax and go to a state of peace, calm, and love. So what I'm going to share with you is when I say in, that means inhale through your nose, and it'll be for 2 seconds. So I will say in, 2, and then I will say out, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to be for 4 seconds. You will exhale, and you will be exhaling through your mouth. So just do this very comfortably and easily. So we'll begin. In, 2, out, 2, 3, 4. 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 In, 2, out, 2. And on this last one, let the air all go out and hold. Hold it for about 10 seconds or even longer if you can. Now at this moment, feel that just time just stops. Feel that you're in complete stillness. Feel that you are completely safe. And relax yourself. You can take in a deep breath and just breathe normally now. And just follow the words that I share with you. As you're breathing in and out, in and out. Feel each time you take that breath in, you're breathing in love, you're breathing in abundance, you're breathing in calm, you're breathing in stillness, you're breathing in peace. And each time you exhale, push out all your worries, push out your stress, push out any feelings of discomfort, and simply relax. Allow every single part of your body to just relax. Relax your ears, relax your eyelids. Relax your lips. Relax your throat. Relax your chest. Relax your hands and your feet. And relax all the way to your fingertips and to your toes. Feel peace, calm, and love. Now at this point, think about where you are most what you are most grateful for. Focus on how that makes you feel. For example, think about that moment when you hug, if you are a parent, you hug your child and you see their face and how much they love you. Feel that. It could be anything that you're gratitude mostly for. And hold on to that feeling. That feeling of gratitude carries a very high vibration. This vibration allows you to connect to an infinite source of light and energy out into the universe. You are fully control of your life. You choose your reality and how you want to live your most best, abundant, and limitless life. As you're holding on to this feeling, I want you to imagine, visualize, or sense there's this golden, bright, light energy above you, hundreds of feet high. And imagine this light coming down over the top of your head, like a spotlight. And sense this light. Some of you may feel like it's liquid light. So imagine if you're taking a nice warm shower. Allow this light, this liquid light, just gently cover over the crown of your head, passing through to your ears, your eyes, your mouth. This liquid light full of love and abundance passing down your throat and into your chest. And allow it go back down further, past your stomach, extending out to your shoulders, your elbows, your hand and fingertips. Allow this liquid light to pass down your waist to your legs, past your knees, ankle and feet. Now imagine this light passing through you and going to the center of the earth. The center of this earth has this beautiful energy of love and abundance and feeling of security. And imagine that it reflects up like a mirror and this light comes back up into you. So you have this beautiful light above and below coming into you where you are centered. And this light just comes to the center towards where your heart is. And allow this light to start growing and expanding like a sphere, a bubble. Expanding 5 feet, surrounding you, expanding 10 feet, expanding 100 feet, expanding beyond your home, expanding beyond the state where you are, expanding beyond the planet, this great energy that you have. Now that this light, this beautiful love and abundant light is filling your whole body, removing any types of shame, guilt, removing worries, removing fears. You are now magnificent. You are now powerful. Now think of a time that you felt rejected. Ask yourself, when was that first imprint? Meaning the earliest age that you felt rejection. Allow these answers just to come up effortlessly. Don't judge it. Don't think. Just let it appear. If it doesn't appear, it's okay. Now ask yourself, did you absorb this feeling of rejection from your mother, your father, a relative, yourself, or even someone else? Now feel the sensation of rejection and see where it is inside your body where it feels most heavy. And when I say heavy, meaning maybe you feel a bit of tightness, some heaviness, denseness, some tension. For some of us, it could be around our face or neck. Some of us, we feel it in our chest or our stomach area. And maybe for others, you feel it in the lower back, your upper back, or your shoulders. Focus on where it is on your body the most heaviest. Now ask yourself, what is the emotion that is tied to that feeling of rejection? It could be for some anger. Maybe it was jealousy. Maybe the emotion you felt was you were unwanted. Again, don't judge what emotion that appears, because usually the first thing that pops up, that is the answer. As you are now aware, bring in this light that we've connected to the area where you felt it most heavy. And allow that light to be concentrated and expand more in that area. And allow that light to disintegrate, to just dissolve, to remove and delete any of those emotions that you felt that's tied to the feeling of rejection. So in the area, everywhere that you felt this emotion that's tied to the feeling of rejection, let's clear it, uncreate it, transmute it across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, everywhere in that area you feel this emotion that's connected to this feeling of rejection, let's clear it, delete it, uncreate it, transmute it across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One last time, everywhere that you feel in that area, this emotion is tied to the feeling of rejection, let's clear it, uncreate it, transmute it across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, everywhere you felt rejected because you didn't feel supported by your parents when you needed them, let's clear that. Let's clear it, uncreate it, transmute it across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And so it is. Everywhere you felt rejected because your brother or sister got more attention than you did, let's clear it, uncreate it, transmute it across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everywhere you felt rejected because you didn't feel supported by the universe or a higher source when you needed it. Let's clear it, uncreate it, transmute it across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everywhere you felt rejected because you felt like you didn't belong, let's clear it, uncreate it, transmute it across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everywhere you felt rejected because you didn't feel like you were good enough, Let's clear it. Uncreated, transmuted across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ask yourself, what would it take for my heart to be filled with this unlimited joy, laughter, happiness, and abundance? Ask yourself, what would it take for you to wake up every morning feeling amazing, feeling so excited for the day? Now I'm going to count backwards from 10 to 1. And when I get to 1, you will open your eyes feeling this sense of rejuvenation, a higher self of happiness. You're vibrating much higher. You're going to be more loving to yourself, and you're going to commit to yourself that you will do whatever it takes to live the best life that you can even ever imagine, because you deserve it. You are worthy, and you are good enough. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you, everyone. Now, if anybody would like, if they want to just share their experience, what they felt, please feel free. And you can simply, anyone that would like to just share their experience, maybe they felt something, just feel free just to unmute and just share.
Yeah, thank you, Junie and BB, for this great exercise. I think for the past year with the pandemic and everything, it's been a while since I felt peace. It's been a while since I even focused on breathing. So I think that was a great start for me to, I guess, just find peace within myself.
That's great. Thank you very much for sharing. We appreciate it. Thank you. Is there anyone else? We are a tribe. We are a family. So, feel free. There's no judgment. We're just here to share. Anyone else?
I have a question. To make it easier. Did anyone resonate with that trauma of rejection? Did anyone felt it when we said the feeling of not being good enough, or I am not enough, or I am not good enough, or I am never gonna be good enough? Does anybody resonate with that? You don't have to agree. You just need to know that for some reason you felt connected to that sentence. Did anyone have that?
It was very easy to respond to that. I could think of lots of examples. No problem.
Hi, Lilita, how are you? Can you, it's a little bit low on the volume of hearing your voice. If you're able to maybe move a little bit closer to the device, that would be appreciated.
Is that better?
Yes, it's better. Thank you so much.
Okay. So I was just reiterating that it was very, very easy to feel rejection, and I could scroll through a dozen examples, unfortunately. Yeah. So thanks. And you left me feeling very peaceful too. That's
Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Lilita. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's great. Anyone else want to share anything, any question before I move on to the next tool?
Yeah, hi. My name is Joy. Hi, BB.
Hi.
Junie, it's great to meet you guys. You guys have amazing energy. I just want to say thank you for having this meeting. I definitely have struggled my whole life with feelings of unworthiness and anxiety. And so that's something that's definitely, I feel like it's like within my life path to get over and get past. And that meditation was amazing and very powerful. Junie, thank you so much for that. I definitely felt that. Yeah, and I'm just surprised how effective it can be to just imagine or just set intentions and believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and just how close we are to our own power and ability to heal ourselves. And I feel like that session, it was short, but it was very effective. So I thank you, both of you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Joy. Thank you so much.
Okay. Great. I hope that everyone felt better from before we start this webinar until now. So now I'm going to go share with you a second method of how we can clear our traumatic imprints. So the first one Junie shared with you was a very quick meditation clearing. I personally use this every day for many, many years to clear. And this is very powerful clearing. Whenever you feel any emotion of stuck, a heavy sensation or worrying or anxiety coming, you can use this tool and then go back to find that imprint, to find where was the root, when did it happen, and then you can clear them. Okay, but that I want to introduce you another method that I use to clear, and this is easier method. And let me just introduce to you this stuff. This is actually flower essence, which I've been using, and some of you have also started using. And I'm so thankful to discover this because I remember that I have friends who had asked me, please help me to clear because, I don't feel good at home. I don't feel harmony at home with my family, or I'm so stressed out when I see my husband, or I don't talk to my husband, like all sorts of things. Okay. Or even stressed at workplace or, places, where people go to work and you have office politics and they feel this stress, right? So I introduced to them this clearing method that Junie just did, but not many people have the patience to learn. Not many people have the time to learn. So I remember once I got asked, is there a product that I can use that can help me clear this traumatic imprint without doing all this meditation? I said, no, I don't know any other method. And what we learn from the best in the world, from the best guru in energetic healing for emotional trauma, clearing, healing. We learn from the best in the world. And even up to that point, I did not know of any product that can just help me clear this until I was introduced to this little flower essence. These are very similar to essential oil, but essential oil works on physical level, like pain, like sinuses, like, something more physical. Whereas this little flower essence, they work on our energetic level, they work on our vibration, and they work on our emotional level. So they have multiple essences that work for different emotions. And then they also have this little oral essence, oral drop. It's like a form of homeopathy. So whenever you feel anxiety, they have different types. I use like Serenity to calm me down. So this works more on immediate. If you feel anxious or you start feeling negative thoughts, then you want to just drink this daily, and then it really works really, really fast. And then I also use like healing the heart because I've been hurt in past relationships. I've been hurt as a child in school. I was bullied, so I need to heal my heart. So I use this a lot, and it's very, very powerful. And sometimes you're surrounded by people with negative energy. I don't know how many of you can relate, but I'm a very sensitive person. So when I'm around people who give off that negative vibes, I pick it up right away. I'm like, oh, I feel heavy. So in the past, I would need to excuse myself to go somewhere and do my own clearing. But these days, I just use this, I just apply it on my face and I feel instant relief. And these things work on repelling negative energy. So there are so many different essences. There's this chakra essence where you work on healing your chakras. So I just want to share with you this fun stuff that I'm using, and they are very, very, very effective. It's very useful for even your children, your kids, if you want to help them deal with tantrums, if you want to help them deal with emotional issues, or crankiness, or demanding, or concentration at school, if they cannot concentrate at school. Because I know that most of us are working parents. We don't have the luxury of spending 24 hours with our kids. Therefore, we don't really know exactly every single detail of what happened to them in school. They don't necessarily share with us everything, but they do get the emotion. They do get the trauma. So some people would use this for their kids, and the result is very, very fast. It works very fast. I think some of the people here have already used this flower essence before, but I can share with you some example of the result after using flower essence. I want to share with you my personal example. I've been practicing this for many years without using this. Okay, I'm just using my own clearing method that Junie shared earlier. However, there is still like that 5-10% of things that bother me from time to time. For example, I was a perfectionist in my work. So meaning, if I say I'm going to do something for you, let's just say I say, okay, I'm going to ship this to you tomorrow. It has to arrive tomorrow. I don't care what happened. I don't care what happened to FedEx. FedEx has to deliver tomorrow. If they don't deliver tomorrow, their phone is going to explode because I will keep calling. That's how perfectionist and controlling I was. And I thought that it's normal. I thought that I'm doing a good job. But because of that, my stress level went up high because I'm trying to control people that is out of my control. But I was trying to control that. So when I realized that it was not normal, that sometimes you just have to chill a little bit. Not everything should be controlled. And I realized that, and I started using this stuff. And I realized that just a week after I started using this, there was an event. For example, somebody's supposed to arrange something business-wise, and they did do it according to schedule. And my reaction was, well, it's fine. They will just do it. In the past, I would not let that go. I would keep harassing that person. Like, you promised me you're going to do this at this date, this time, according to this, you have to deliver. But these days, I don't do that anymore. I'm just a little bit more chill. I understand situations, and I just have faith that it will turn out the way it is. So my stress level has gone down tremendously. Like, nothing much can bother me these days, and nothing much can make me worry these days. I would say, remember I say I was at 95% chronic worrying. Today, I would say I'm less than 5%. So for me, it's a big, big achievement because, chronic worrying is a torture. It's a mental torture because you cannot control it, because the more you try to control it, the more it bothers you, the more these negative thoughts start coming in. So, after doing all this clearing and using all this flower essence, it has helped me calm down so much that I would say I am completely normal. I wake up feeling very joyful. My hope for the future is very bright. No longer in the past worrying about the future, worrying about this, worrying about that. Today, I am very hopeful. I feel very joyful. I wake up feeling really great. I feel myself with so much gratitude. And so, even the pandemic, I wasn't panicking. I wasn't worrying. I wasn't having anxious thoughts. I'm just practicing, careful steps, but I don't go into my old self. My old self, I would be paranoid. My old self, I would be panicking. My old self, I would be controlling everyone. But today, I am not like that. So this is just some story of my own experience with the flower essence. Is there anyone here that have used the flower essence that want to share their experience?
Just unmute yourself and feel free just to share. You don't have to be shy. I know some of you have experienced it, so just feel free. We're here like a family. So,
Hi, my name's Casey. I actually just started using the oral essences. I think it's been about a 2 or 3 week period of time. I didn't really know what to expect with it. Just in a general nutshell, especially during the pandemic, my anxiety got to like an extreme level, and probably like around the middle of last year. And it took a little while to balance it out. I've tried different like anti-anxiety medications and just different things. And in reality, obviously just time helped as well. But when I tried the oral essences, it was just to kind of help with um, the higher level of anxiety and just trying to figure out how to lower it. But I was actually very surprised by the effects that it had that I wasn't expecting, which one was I have pretty bad eczema, and it's usually triggered to stress. And I actually noticed it starting to clear up. My skin actually changed a little bit, and obviously everything's from the inside out. And it was a little surprising just seeing the actual physical changes that I was able to see with it. And then the other half of what I noticed when I started taking the oral essences was I can tend to get a high level of anxiety when working on just particular work projects, just because stress, time management, all of that. But I noticed there was a productivity change that I noticed with it, where certain things that would start to feel overwhelming. Just a good example would be if you have a lot of ideas, it can sometimes be hard to organize those thoughts. And so for me, that was a big challenge with some of my work. And I noticed just in the last week or two, I'm going to use video editing as a example. I would have maybe 40 or 50 clips that I would have to organize and structure, and I won't bore you guys with the details of that, but it actually, something that would normally take me maybe 4 or 5 hours, like a couple of days ago, I was able to execute that in 25 minutes because I didn't have the anxiety that came with it. And so it's being able to see the difference in not just the best way to say it is what I was trying to get out of the drops were the high levels of anxiety and trying to lower those. But I actually found that the regular day-to-day anxiety, having that lowered, made a very, very, very big difference in my life. And I feel more relaxed and more in control, because for me, a lot of my anxiety comes from like the unknown, especially during the pandemic, when you have very extreme changes that you can't really control and you don't really know what's next. It can be a bit overwhelming, but now that things are kind of getting back to normal, having something to be able to kind of balance out the anxiety, not just from the extreme level, but just the day-to-day has been way more than I could have imagined. And being somebody who's actually tried the medication route, having something that doesn't make you feel drowsy or not yourself has been really helpful, because when you're having those anxieties and you're still able to go throughout your day not having to feel foggy or not yourself is the best way to say it, has been night and day. And it's I wanted to share that just because it's been a really good experience.
Wow, Casey, that was amazing, and thank you so much for sharing. We certainly appreciate that very much, and I'm sure everyone here as well. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
We're opening up for questions, and anyone else has comment or questions that you want to share before we finish up the session?
Junie, Bibi?
Yes?
Hello,
Hi,
Lisa.
Lisa. Hi,
Hi.
guys. How are you?
Doing great.
Hi.
Good. So I just wanted to share that, it was my privilege to be introduced to this product and to be able to share it with others, as I'm in the beauty and wellness business. And so aside from sharing it with, clients, in general, I would like to say that it's close to home because I have a daughter who suffers from anxiety. She's, not here in the States with me. She's in Texas. So she would call me sometimes and I'd have to talk her down and so on. Right.
Sure.
And so she started taking the oral essence, and initially when I told her about it, she's one of those people who she has to see it to believe it, right?
Right.
So she didn't bite right away. And then initially, after I had some evidence from other people that was using it, she agreed to try it. So what I found miraculous was that she used it for the first time she used it. She reported that right away she was able to, because she gets stuck, that she was able to, take the drops and to be able to function at her work. And inside of, I think it was maybe by the third day, it so happens that she vapes, which is something that drove me crazy, but what can you do? She vapes. And the reason she vaped was because, when you have anxiety, I think sometimes you try to pick up certain habits just to calm you down.
Yes.
And so the whole point of her taking it was just to help her to function. Never, not myself nor she realized that it was going to literally make her go cold turkey. She said that she no longer had the desire to vape. She no longer ate, like, totally cold turkey. So that was amazing because I didn't tell her about it for that reason. So I think that there's a lot of little gifts, I want to call it, that
Yes.
you'll find, right? That you may be taking it for one thing and wellness is wellness. And guess what? Vaping is not the best thing in the world, right?
That's right.
So, it had that side effect as well. And, I could go on and on, but we only have a certain amount of time. So I just definitely wanted to share that with everyone. And, and say, and to both of you that I'm really grateful to be exposed to such an amazing product.
Thank you so much, Lisa. We so much appreciate you and the story that you shared with us. Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Yes. So again, the intention of us sharing this today is because, I myself went through the journey of discovering who I am. Why was I suffering internally? As I say, externally, superficially, I fine. I meet the standard of society's expectation, but internally, my inner self, I was suffering. Nobody could help me because it was difficult for me to share with anyone without worrying of being called crazy, right? Because, if you share with your friends that I keep worrying about this, they will just tell you, stop thinking, stop worrying, or now you're just crazy. But it wouldn't stop. So, I couldn't share with people. I was just suffering inside until one day I told Junie, I said, this is how I feel every day. And it's, sometimes I broke down. I cried because I don't know what is this emotion. I don't know why I feel like this. And until I discovered this and I started healing and I said to myself, I have a purpose, and this purpose is I want to share this empowering tool to everyone in the world, as many as possible, maybe not everyone, but as many people as possible, because again, like I say, 7 out of 10 people that I know are dealing with emotional issues, different types of emotional issues. Maybe some can't be put into words, but they are dealing with emotional issues. And then the pandemic triggered it into anxiety, triggered it into depression. So, I feel like if more and more people are empowered to know there's hope and it can be solved, all we need to do is visit that imprints, go after that imprints, what happened during your childhood. And once you clear those emotions, trust me, you're gonna wake up with joy, with no worries, with, not doom, but with hope, with, the future that's so bright, the life that's so great. And one thing I want to share is I always tell people, anyone here has been to Disney or taken their kids to Disney? And if you have, I'm sure you've seen the joy on your kids' face. And why do you want to bring your kids to Disney? You want them to have fun. You want them to be happy. You want to see those joy, right? And, I always tell people that we come here to Earth. I don't know how many of you question, why are we on Earth for? Why are we here for? What do we do? What's the meaning? And for me, I always share with people, think of this as the biggest Disneyland. Earth is the biggest Disneyland. We're here to have fun. We're here to have a great ride. We're here to enjoy the best. But how many of us are actually living that life. We are surviving. Most people are surviving. You continue to be in a job that you hate, but because you need the money, so you survive. You stayed in abusive relationship because it was uncomfortable to get out of it, all because you want to survive. So we need to change the survival mode into a fun mode. We need to have fun. We need to have joy. We need to have a great time on earth. So therefore, we need to shift that mindset. And to shift that mindset, we need to detox our emotional trauma. So today we share with you these two tools, the flower essence and the clearing. And I also want to introduce, I know some of you are interested in the flower essence. What you can do is, for those of you who have our direct contact, you can contact us directly. Or if you have our email, you can email us directly. And or you can contact Lisa. So these are some of the options you can get hold of this flower essence. And if for some of you who's interested in attending classes on clearing, we do organize group clearing classes, very small group in each group. So each group only has 5 persons so that we can work with you with attention. We also have those classes once a week, an hour class where we will help you with clearing. So we can help you find your own individual trauma and what was the imprint so that you can clear them. So if you're interested, get in touch with us, email us, or for those of you who have our contact, you can reach out to us directly via WhatsApp or my phone or Junie's phone, or you can write to us at contact@ihumanpotential.com. Let me repeat, it's contact@ihumanpotential.com. So you can email us, call us, WhatsApp us, any form, any way you want. Then we can give you consultation. We can take you further and bring you to the next level, bring you the joy that you've been looking for.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, BB, just so, because I know this is a question that a lot of people ask. What happens through like these courses? Obviously, the flower essence are very self-explanatory. You know, you have the flower essence, and we can explain it's very direct to product. But let me share with you what goes on in these classes that we do. And some of them, like BB said, we'll do small groups of 5 because we want to make it very personable, so we have intention for the people. And we also just so people know, we do have sessions. Sometimes people want to do it individually as well. We also have that, but we give the tools, and the tools are actually much more than what we just did because there's actually a lot. So we just gave you a taste of a couple tools that we provide. But what we want to do is basically we want to share these tools so that you will be fully self-empowered. Empowered meaning that this is something that you'll take for the rest of your life. It's something that you don't have to always keep looking for or searching for. It's basically, we're giving you the solution. So anytime you're dealing with type of fears and anxieties or stress or feeling like, you know, where am I going with my life? These tools will help you to overcome that so that you can live your most ultimate, your most fun, your most healthiest, most exciting life. Because that's what BB was just sharing. This world should be our Disney World. Instead of just watching from behind the scenes and watch everybody else enjoy the rides, we should be the ones in the ride enjoying it the most to the fullest, you know, and just stay on that ride as long as we want. That's what we should be doing. So some of the questions that people ask, what we've done before is, we are actually especially doing these groups. Normally, you know, we'll do larger groups, but because we appreciate everyone's time for joining, we wanted to do something very special. You know, we want to make you guys like a part of our family.
Questions?
BB?
Yes.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
As in regards to the oral essence and the flower essence, right? If we could just kind of explain what is the difference, right? And how people are going to get the best out of the product, because you know there are other essences out there. What makes this one different from?
Sure. Let me just run through. So there's this flower. This is what we call the flower essence. This is the oral essence. First of all, I want to address. Yes, when I first got introduced to this, I did my research about what's available out there. There is nothing else that is the way this product is. This is the only product that's available that comes this way. It has a formulated, every one of these essences are formulated for a reason. So for example, this is called the Soul Recovery. It's for healing your heart. So it's very, very good for people who have been hurt. Many of us have. So this will heal that hurt, disappointment, those kind of things. And then I'm going to share with you, this is childhood. I use this too. So we all have childhood. This whole entire webinar is about childhood emotion or childhood trauma. So I use this, even though I've already cleared so much for myself using our own technique, but I know that, you know, there are still debris or a little traumatic events that may still be trapped. So I use this for my child. I recommend this to everyone because we want to heal our childhood. So this, you apply it externally. We have instructions of how you apply on your wrist, on your heart, your chest, your face, you know, there are different types. And these works on the imprint. Imprint means the first time that emotion was created. You have to go after that imprint, because when you clear that imprint, it doesn't repeat itself anymore. I give you an example. Let's just say someone who keeps attracting cheating boyfriend, okay? One after another, she always experienced someone who would cheat on her. So there's a pattern, right? So when there is a pattern, you need to go after the imprint. It's not now. It's in the past. It's in the childhood. So you want to use this to clear that imprint. And once it's clear, the root cause is clear. So now you will no longer attract a cheating boyfriend. Whereas this one, the oral essence, this works more on current. If you are feeling anxious right now, you take this. If you have bad temper, if you cannot control your anger, you take this. It calms you down immediately. If you have pattern of negative thoughts, you know, you cannot control that negative thinking, you take oral essence. There's different types of oral essence. So, or if you're someone that needs confidence, you have very low self-esteem and you want to work on your confidence, then you take the type that build up your confidence. So it's like there's many different emotions that you're dealing with, and then they have different types to deal with that. It's very specific. For those of you interested, I can send you the e-flyer, and then you can read up about it and what they do and how what kind of emotion it can help you. So are we clear why we use this? This is for imprints. This is for your current emotion. When you have a breakdown, meltdown, if your kid's having a meltdown, go for this. So Lisa, have I answered the question? Lisa? I can't hear Lisa. Okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was on mute. I had to like play around with my phone. Yes. That was very thorough. Thank you.
Okay, good. Anyone else has question about emotion, about trauma, about anything?
I have a question. BB, it's Joy again. Do the oral essences take time to build up in your system, or is it just specifically for like that moment and then it sort of like leaves your system and then that's it?
Okay. It builds up. Because, you know, energy and emotion, you've been building up over your entire life, right? So when you use oral essence, it helps you not just for present, it also builds up to calm you down over time. So it does build up. It's not a one-time quick solution, although it works very quickly to calm you down, but it adds up.
And the serenity comes in the oral drops too, right? Or is that just for the flower essences?
Serenity comes in the drops too. It works really well for people with anxiety, with very bad temper, you know, very quick temper, kids with tantrum. Kids with always cranky or emotional meltdown, it works really well to calm them down. And I know that there's a lot of kids these days, teenagers, who are dealing with emotional issues, depression, childhood depression, or paranoia, or negative thinking, or fear. A lot of kids are living in fear because they were disconnected from their parents way too young. You know, in the past, we had a really good childhood with our parents. We have very good memories. You know, we basically stay at home with our siblings, cared for, comforted at home, at least until 5 or 6 years old. But today, kids, they get disconnected at the age of 2 or maybe some in New York, I think 1.5 or 2, they would be sent to daycare and they get disconnected. They felt abandoned and they started building these imprints. They started building stories. They started having this negative thoughts. So you can see the pattern, and the pattern is there's a lot of childhood depression, anxiety. A lot of kids are on medication these days, and I don't think that it's going to be a good move, for the future. We can't keep depending on medication. So yeah. Any more
Yes.
questions?
Yeah, I actually had a question about the oral essences I meant to ask a few days ago. The as far as long-term use, is it something that you build a tolerance to, or is it the same throughout as while you're using it? So like hypothetically, if you're doing it once or twice a day, would you have to increase it over time, or would it be the same across the board?
Yes, it's going to stay the same across the board. You don't have to increase it over time. And what's even better is, once you notice that your mood has calmed down and you feel like you no longer need it, you can stop. It's not dependent. You do not depend on it. So like, for example, I use different essence. And once I feel like, a certain aspect of what I wanted to heal is already healed, I cut it down. I change to another essence. So it is not a product that would make you dependent on it, because all forms of trauma are energy. They are just energy. And once it's cleared, it's permanent, unless you build up a new trauma. But, even new trauma, it's unlikely you're going to attract that once you clear the original imprint, which is the root experience. So it's not something that you depend on, and it's not something that you need to increase doses. You just remain the same across the board.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for answering that.
You're welcome. I change. And when I change, my energy change. When my energy change, the way I view things and the situation I attract started to change. So recently I have a friend who shared with me that she's a very, very successful, well-accomplished businesswoman, self-made. And she told me, she said, how do you know if, these people, like friends, are good people? How do you know they are sincere? How do you know they are not there to use you, to take advantage of you? I say, I know. And she asked me, how do you know? I say, I have that sensitivity. I just know who is good and who is not. And she told me, she said, it's very hard. It's very hard for her because she always gets scammed. So I explained to her all this trauma, she attracted it. And I told her, when you clear all these traumas from your life, you only attract good people and the right people into your life, people of the same vibration, and everything is positive. You attract positive events, positive situation, and positive people into your life. And like you shared just now, Joy, when you change internally, your external will start to change as well.
And Bibi, I want to add also that thank you for sharing. And that's the whole topic of this conversation. Heal your emotion, heal your life. Healing your life encompasses so many things. And with our emotions, that has an effect on not just our relationships, but it's also like with parenting, the relationship we have with our children, also our relationship, how we are at work, our relationship with money, even our health, how we look at ourselves. So basically healing our life, it encompasses everything, and that's what we want to share with you, because when you can take care of yourself and you get to the root of why you're feeling stuck, why you're feeling all these emotions, and you just feel like, I just cannot get out of this. And you feel like your reality is like, you know what, this may just end up being like this for the rest of my life. Well, it's not. And we can change that. And all that is related to what happened when we were between the ages of 0 to 7. And just like we shared, our brains are wired differently in theta waves. And whatever we picked up, that gets stored into our subconscious. And then when we go into our adult lives, not everyone will remember what happened maybe when we were 2 years old or 3 years old, or a specific incident, because there's so much going on in our world today, in our daily lives, that we forget to look and take care of ourselves. And that was the whole point. And when we have a moment to be still through meditation, and also with the incorporating flower essence, that gives us an opportunity to connect back to ourselves, connect to a higher source, because that's all we want to do. Find a way to eliminate those emotions that has caused so much issues for our lives that we are in today. Just like Bibi said in the very beginning, when we eat our food, it processes and it has to go out. Imagine just like food and it gets stored up. It would be terrible for the body, just like if it never processes out. So it's the same way with emotions. More than emotions, that's why you hear people talk about, oh, this person has all these baggages. It's not a illness. It's not a problem. It's very simple, because what we're sharing with you is getting down to the why. Why are you feeling this? And we're just telling you this is the answer. We're getting to the root of it. And then identifying the root. Now we can give you a solution. And the solution is that we're giving you this power, the power to have this so that you can carry on with this for the rest of your life and into your generations. Because that's all we want to do in this life, where everyone can live with joy, happiness, full of abundance. It's never meant to be that, oh, it's just me, me, me. That's not how life works. That's not how everything works. It's an exchange of energy. We give, we receive, other person also give, receive. And that's how exponentially this energy grows. And that's what I wanted to share with you. Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to add something. Before we end this webinar, I want to remind something. It is not a mental illness. It is not an illness. Not at all. Whether it's depression, anxiety, it is not an illness. It is just an accumulation of unprocessed traumatic emotion that we're carrying and we haven't detoxed it out. Just like what Junie said, if we keep eating and we don't go to the bathroom, what do you think is going to happen next? What, right? It's going to make us feel uncomfortable. It's the same. Whatever that you're feeling, your emotional mood swing, anything to do with emotion, they are not mental illness. They are just unprocessed traumatic emotion that we've been carrying from our childhood. So once you clear them, you will feel your true self is back. You will have that childlike nature back, that bubbly, happy person will be back.